Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of Tait Talks. We're back again. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I will be speaking to my good friend, Harry Spiteri. Harry is a deckhand on a cray boat, which is very interesting in itself. He is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he is an aspiring rider. So he's an absolute triple threat, and we're going to discuss everything about these three things. First off, Harry, how the fuck are you, mate?
Not too shabby. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. This is the second podcast of the day. I just had Jesse Morton on, so we're going back to back, which is nice, trying to pretend I'm a professional.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the calibre.
Yes, and the video camera stopped during Jesse's last 15 minutes, so very professional. Cutting him off when he's talking about his new ventures and what he's trying to do and giving himself a plug, and I'm like, nah, it's done, mate, camera's fucked. But we got him on the last bit of the podcast, so you should be able to listen to that.
Oh, that'd be good for the conspiracy merchants out there that are wondering what just went on when the cameras went down.
I'm trying to fucking hold everyone back. But you can hear the audio. You can hear the audio of it, so it's fine. Harry, as I just mentioned, you are a deckhand on a cray boat. How does that happen for a person? How did you get into this?
Yeah, so for me, I grew up with my old man, my dad. He was a cray fisherman.
Yep.
So he started off, like, he just was working on boats and loved fishing growing up.
Yeah.
And then he got his own boat and then eventually got a license for cray-fishing. And then, he started craying for years. And then eventually he had an opening for some work, and I was, just being the... Yeah.
So you just wanted to jump in on the family trade?
Yeah. So me and my brother actually both decky for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did he have a crew before you, or was he just going lone hand?
Well, he started off by himself.
Yeah.
And then he worked with various other people in partnerships and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So he has had other people.
Yeah.
For him. Yeah.
So I've known you for a fair while. I know your dad's been doing it ever since I've known you. So around the Juck region, and then you go off. Is it only around Torquay and Juck that you're... I want to know like the specifics of the licensing.
Yeah.
Is it you get like a little zone, or
yeah,
how does
it works
it work?
in zones. Yeah,
Okay.
So there's like an eastern zone, a western zone, and heaps of other kind of different industries.
Yeah.
That are in like fishing Victoria. So for us specifically, we can work from Malakuta to Apollo Bay, and that's the eastern zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you predominantly go, or is it different times of the year?
Yeah.
You're like, it's better down in Fairhaven.
Exactly. So we work predominantly because there's a lot of other fishing boats in the area.
Yeah.
And everyone generally works close to their port. And we work normally between Queenscliff and Lawn. We don't go much further than Lawn or much further than Queenscliff. Yeah.
So every day you're out there? Like, is it a...
Yeah,
I'm just going on the Deadliest Catch, mate. This is just all my knowledge. It's all ex-criminal. So in my mind, I think you're just a thug criminal out there. Just got out of the pen and you're like, I'm going to catch myself some fucking crayfish.
Yeah, I wish I had a bit more of a street creddy kind of upbringing into the fishing world, running from the law and all that kind of stuff. But,
just born into it.
Just born into it, yeah. So with the Deadliest Catch and stuff, they do trips. So there's kind of like two styles of fishing. One will be like people that do day trips, and then people that do longer trips. They'll work more remotely. They'll stay out and live on the boat until they've filled up their well, and then they'll come back to port and then sail.
Yep.
So we do day trips. So we have like specific, kind of like our peak seasons, and then they do close it for spawning.
Yeah, so
and that's
replenish.
Kind of like almost 3 months from early September till mid-November kind of thing.
Yeah.
Around about that, yeah. But then the rest you can fish without license, everything else.
Because it's not commercial and you're not pulling out a ridiculous amount?
No. So we have so it works like by a quota system.
Yeah.
So they set each zone, so there's like eastern zone and western zone. They'll have their individual quota systems.
Does it change?
It does change, yeah.
Really?
So
they do research and go like, this year it takes amount.
Yeah.
That's hard for like fucking... If you've got an accustomed way of living and then they're like, quota's fucking down, lads, and you're just like, oh, there goes my motorbike, or whatever, whatever it may be. Like that must be
no surfboard.
Yeah.
It
must be. So, how many months a year would you work?
All up about 7, depending on how quick we catch them. Sort of thing, our quota. Yeah.
And so you got to log everything.
Yeah. So you report. Yeah. You ring up Fisheries Victoria.
Yeah.
And you'll give them warning on like when you're coming in. So you got to give them like 1 or 2 hours warning before you come back. Yeah. To your port, and then you tell them how much you caught for the day.
Do they meet you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that is to give them time.
Yeah. So if they want to come,
you,
so it's like in the world of like being professional athlete. If they're like, if they want to drug test you, they're like, don't you fucking go anywhere, mate.
We need your piss.
Piss in
go.
this. That's so. I just never thought that potentially they would come out and be like, hey, show us your well, or whatever you call it.
Exactly, and then, sometimes they'll be on patrol out in the ocean and they'll just board your boat and, do a check out the boat. I think last season we probably got inspected twice out at sea. Yeah.
Good rapport with them? Or are you just like, you fucking sea dogs?
No, that's alright, they're just doing their job and we're doing ours, so it's normally pretty smooth, the transitions. Or the interactions.
Explain to me the process of actually fishing for a crayfish.
Yeah, so you'll try and find some reef that you think might have some of the fish, and then you set your traps, which they call them pots, which is kind of like how would you describe it? Kind of like a cage with an opening.
So the idea is for them to be able to get in, but they're
harder to get out. Yeah. They still get out though.
They can get out, okay.
They're sneaky.
And what size is the legal size?
It has to be, so you have like a measuring gauge, which will measure carapace, and certain times of the year you're not allowed to take the females.
Yeah, because they've got the eggs.
Because they've got the eggs, So you want to encourage them to reproduce as much as they can to be sustainable for the injury. So you have a gauge with 2 sides, and you'll check with the gauge. I'm pretty sure it's like over 10 centimeters maybe for a male. But
so if you ever see like a small one somewhere advertising, in a restaurant or something, you're like, you fucking scumbags.
Oh yeah, sometimes like you see, not so much Australia because it's pretty well policed and regulated, but internationally you'll see people like just eating them on their Instagram with eggs on them and stuff, and you're like, oh Jesus.
That's the bad thing, is when like a lot of things I feel like in Australia the standard is amazing. We building, fucking like everything, and then you see overseas, which, I mean, we're pretty lucky that the amount of money that we make and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense. Like, if you weren't going to be able to eat or make any money, you would kind of be like, you know what, fuck this little tiny one. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna fuck it, because I'm not gonna eat. I'm not gonna make money. So you can see why they do it, but it's still bad as someone. All the regulations, and it's obviously, as you said, if you do it right, it's going to be around forever.
Yeah, and you do see like those other countries, when they do get like more wealthy, they seem to have better regulations, better pollution control, better.
For some reason, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can hear this on the podcast, but that fucking helicopter's back. I think that there might have been a crash. I'm hoping there was, because they keep fucking up my day. I know they'll come back to haunt me now, and someone I know has been injured or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't really hope that they're hurt, but I just like saying that type of stuff because I like to give off that I'm a tough guy, which I'm not. I have tits. So you can't really be tough and have tits unless you're a female MMA fighter or something like that. Yeah. Somehow whatever I just said was derogatory, and I'll cop it again. But anyway, back to you. Take the heat off me, please. With when you catch something, if you catch something that is under and you get caught, how fucked do you get?
Yeah, the fines are quite extensive. You'll have like a court date, and like it's all obviously how far you are. You know what I mean? There's
if it's real bad.
And then
straight away, is there something that is loss of license? Straight away?
I'm not
fucking
familiar with the legislation.
Yeah.
The old man would
I'm sure
obviously. But Yeah, I'm pretty...
It's like a diamond encrusted crayfish.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to catch. You're just like, yeah, your surfboard.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Put it back.
Yeah, back. Yeah. But yeah, so the penalties, as far as I'm aware, are quite severe, and
yeah, they should be.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's pretty. I don't know the amount of spawn or fucking other babies crayfish that can come from one mum, but I assume it's more than your average human
thousands.
one time.
Yeah.
So I mean, you take one of those out, that's potentially
yeah,
can have thousands. I assume only a couple of hundred living. Yeah, there's a lot of things out in the ocean that want it.
I'm always reminded of those like Discovery Channel baby turtles trying to get to the ocean sort of things when you're like, oh, there's hundreds of them, and then you're like, seagulls get them.
The saddest thing about that is I watched a show with the baby turtles, and obviously back in the day when there wasn't as much built up stuff around areas, there was no other lights. So when turtles are born, for some, I don't know how they do it, but when they come out, most of the time they go towards the moon, and the moon naturally goes into the water. So they'll follow it into the water, and that's how they figure it out. But now, because things have been built up, the opposite way will have cities and lights and stuff. So the dumb motherfuckers crawl into the town, and usually from a beach it goes straight to road. And they all just get munched by cars. So we've kind of fucked the turtles. So we're talking about not having fucking plastic straws because that kills them. But no, it's actually your lights, you motherfuckers. So next time you complain about, I've got a plastic straw from McDonald's, eat a bag of dicks, turn your lights off, you cunts. There's my rant.
Yeah, no, it's hard because there's like lots of different things that you can do, but I guess you always got to go after the things that you can change, and then but the lights I didn't even know about. But I know it fucks up the owls and
The only thing that's like prospered from
more lights
from civilization is, I think, the peregrine is it falcon? So the bird is built up in like New York, I think. This is me just being a fucking psycho.
No, I love this.
But they've built up the buildings high enough, and so what happens is they nest in the top of these buildings, but then down below, like halfway, is where pigeons fly, in between the buildings. So they just dive bomb and fuck these up, and they've got no natural predator. So they reckon they're one of the few species that has...
They're just dominating.
Yeah, it has really like plenished...
like the Wall Street.
Yeah. So it's like it's the promised land. I think New York in like the sky. Not so much now because of COVID-19, but peregrine falcons. It's fucking great.
Yeah, they're having a hell time. Immune to probably most coronavirus.
Well, they've just got the king of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Someone eats a peregrine falcon and So, and that was the end of humanity.
Yeah.
Good fucking night. We've got off topic here. I'm sorry, that was me. So regulations are there to stop people being pieces of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What happens? So you got cray pots. I feel like when you've got cray pots and you're leaving them there for the crays to go in, I feel like, is there an element, could be theft?
Yeah, there's always that potential, like the closer you work into the busier ports where the recreational people kind of launch from. There is always that risk that you will get ratted. Yeah,
you call it rat? Is that the term?
You could call it that, robbed, whatever. Yeah. But it's like you assume that it's like anything. It's that Pareto distribution, like a small percentage of dirt bags doing all the dirt baggery. Yeah. But so you hope not. But
I remember. Does it happen? Like, would it happen every year?
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Yeah.
To you?
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. Like,
so because you're not going to know, are you? Because
you just we might have just not got fish. Yeah.
So is there? I wonder if there's a clear sign where they'll cut your rope or whatever. I don't know how you actually. Yeah. So I think we've skipped a step. So we talked about the cray pots. Yeah. You chuck them in the water. Is there a buoy?
Yeah.
And then that signals.
Yeah, it's your registration, and then kind of like to let people know you're fishing there.
So is it written on the buoy? Is it like fucking...
You'll have a registration.
This is a property. Okay, yeah.
So you have like with your license, you'll have a register, and it's kind of like your license plate on your car. Yeah.
And that's for your dad's licensing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, you're probably not going to know this, but I've heard stories about abalone fishermen the licensing for that is really high for some. I don't know. Do you eat abalone? What the fuck do you do with it?
Yeah, I think you like barbecue them and stuff.
Yeah,
I've never had one. Yeah.
People like abalone. I'm like, it's the avocado of the ocean.
Yeah.
What? No, I made that up. But
it kind of like made sense.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think it's the avocado.
Probably it's creamy. Yeah.
It's I know it's got a nice shell.
Yeah, they're pretty.
But,
mother of pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more my point was licensing itself.
Yeah, it's quite
very
expensive.
expensive. So, who do you actually sell crayfish to? Who is your main market?
Yeah. So there's kind of like the domestic market, which we sell to wholesalers, and then also the international export market, which is bought up a lot by China. Like China does a lot of the.
Do you have to go to the market, or is there just like a?
So people come down and meet you at the port, and then you'll weigh off and do all your reporting and stuff.
Do you have to like?
I'll put them in a van.
Do you have to barter? You know, like, come on, mate. Yeah, we're going for like I don't know what it is per kilo, but it seems to be always changing. Though.
Yeah, it's quite volatile, but you generally have like market forces.
Are we good now, or
supply demand?
fucking...
I'm not actually fishing at the moment, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I don't have my finger on the pulse. It's kind of like you got to call the market.
So you just let your dad does all that side of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just like, peace out.
I'm just the lackey.
I'll clean the fucking. How?
Yeah. I'll lift the heavy things. And
how physically demanding is the deckhand job?
Yeah, it's quite demanding. Yeah, and especially depending on it's very weather dependent.
Yeah.
So like you've done manual labour jobs quite a lot.
I have. I'm pretty fat, but I get the gist. Putting on my shoes makes me sweat. So it's manual labour for me, but yeah.
Yeah, there's cardio and then there's the strength.
Yeah,
so you've got that good strength base. But it's just normally like manual labouring, but on a unstable surface.
Yeah.
So the more unstable it is, the more you get kind of beat up.
Slippery too.
Like, yeah. Sometimes you'll like hit a patch of seaweed or something will be on deck, or the ropes, or.
Have you ever slipped in?
I've never slipped in, but I've hit the deck a few times. Yeah.
I just know, like on the
Deadliest Catch.
I think because the waves are so crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's terrifying. I watch that and I'm like, I wouldn't do this for $1 million a day because. One, I'm a terrible swimmer, and two, it looks terrible.
Yeah, they have like some of...
Could you do that if they were like, hey, you got the opportunity to do like a fucking, somehow your dad knows someone.
Yeah.
Would you be like, I'll give it a crack? Or would you be like, ugh, fuck. Because you live at sea, don't you?
On the Deadliest Catch, they do, like, they'll do a trip, so they might be out there, for a couple of weeks, then they'll come in to I think they have processing facilities there, so they'll go to some place and unload all their crab.
Yeah.
And then they'll just go straight back out until they've finished their quota, because they're on quota now as well. So they actually have like a pretty funny, they started off, like I don't know if you remember the first season?
No, I think I don't even know if I had Foxtel then.
Yeah. But they had, so the first season, the quota system they had was, I think they called it derby or derby style fishing. Yeah. So they're like, all right, for the whole... whatever it is, the king crab season, there's X amount of crab you're allowed to take.
Yep.
Whoever gets it first gets it. And then as soon as it's done, they're just like, alright, everyone, like there's a radio announcement,
come in
fishing,
your bricks,
dump all the,
lunch is over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they go berserk, and like that's when you get all those deaths, because people were...
working 24/7.
Yeah, because they're like, well, if we don't go, the other boat's going to go, and they're going to get all the quota, and then we're going to be like, go home with our...
Yeah, with no money.
No money. Yeah.
If you're doing that work and you get paid peanuts, there's no point doing it. Like,
exactly.
You're gonna have to love. You're either gonna have to love the work or hate your wife.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the house anymore.
I think a lot of people you see those people that do the longer trips, and you're always like, what are you hiding from? Like, what are you trying to get away from?
Catch. I feel like the first few seasons workrooms.
Was that? Yeah.
Like legitimate. I've got no other option. I have to be at sea. And if I come to land for too long, I'll get arrested.
Yeah. So what am I going to do? Do accounting?
Yeah.
Be a lawyer?
Yeah. Chartered accountant.
Yeah.
No, I'm out there fucking throwing bait into a fucking little cage and chucking it. Yeah, it's a brutal job.
And they have different pay grades. So they'll start off with like a greenhorn, and they'll give you like X% of the catch. And then you'll be
so
like
it's per percentage of the catch, I was going to say.
Most boats. So some...
Is yours? Or is it...
Yeah, ours is percentage. Yeah. And then some, though, you'll get a day rate if you're a deckhand.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like something you have to negotiate with your boss.
What's better?
I would always think, as long as, you know, your fisherman's, the person who's running the boat, skipper in the boat is, you know, knows what they're about, you always want to get a percentage.
How many years has your dad been doing it for now?
Oh, I think over 30.
Yeah, so I feel like your dad knows what pay for the licensing alone, the maintenance on the fucking boat.
Fuel and stuff.
Yeah, like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and then like the bigger the boat, the more expenses you've got.
So it's just you three?
Yeah, just us.
Three fucking
but
just
most
out
people
there.
don't, yeah, they work
pirates?
with oh, I haven't seen any yet, but
I always think that, like I got one mate, fucking our mate's fucking parents have sold up the house and went travelling around the world.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like...
What an epic adventure, eh?
It's like, is there pirates out there?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I watch too much TV, but I just assume that they get those type of...
I think it's Somalia, like there's
like some strait, I can't remember what it is. It's African, I was going to say the African horn or something like that.
Yeah.
I just know words.
Probably is.
Yeah, I don't know. It would make sense.
Yeah.
Somalia,
That's southern Madagascar peninsula.
Yeah. It's off Torquay, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, the more remote, the more, you know, better weather conditions, the more chance of pirating. And especially in terms of like sailing and yachting, you do have some people that have quite extravagant boats, and then they might be like, fuck it, we're going to go, you know, into...
That's who I'd be robbing.
So, yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to be robbing some fucking dinghy. I'm going to be robbing some super yacht.
Yeah, you want like the golf pro that's a little bit, thinks he's dangerous kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm like, come in at night, mate. You're fucked.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Three glasses of champagne deep.
You're just fucking like... And I beat him to death with his own champagne bottle.
Yeah.
And now I'm the captain. Is your dad called Captain? Do you call him Captain? Do you call him Dad?
Just, Dad.
Dad!
We have some good...
Dad overboard!
Well, the best one, you'll always be like, Captain goes down with the ship.
Yeah. It's in any fucking like circumstance too. You just always just go back to
Captain goes down with the ship.
Yeah.
It's maritime law.
Yeah.